What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading. Today, we're going to take a look at why altcoin season is almost here, how long it could last, and how high the crypto market could go. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal analysis of the crypto market. Your analysis could be different, and if it is, that's awesome, because the more difference of opinion that we have, the better traders and the better investors we're all going to become. So I want to basically start off, guys, from where we left off in the video earlier this week. To quickly refresh your memory, there's no strict definition of when an altcoin season starts. It kind of varies from person to person. There's no textbook of it needs to be this or needs to be that. Everyone is looking at different indicators, and you guys might remember that I'm basically looking at three criteria that would mark the start of an altcoin season. The first criteria is Ethereum hitting a new all-time high, which could literally happen by the time you see this video. Ethereum is basically on the brink of hitting a new all-time high now. So that would be the first criteria. The second criteria would be others, which of course measures altcoins outside of the top 10, the total crypto market cap of altcoins. So it's smaller cap altcoins, basically. That would be others breaking above 310 billion, which also looks like it's going to happen in the next day or two. And as you guys might notice, I kind of highlighted things here just to make it clear. In July, we did see this altcoin rally that I had been calling for. Earlier this month, we saw this August pullback, which I thought would happen in the middle of the month. I thought the altcoin rally would continue a little bit longer. Of course, that didn't happen. The August pullback came a little bit early, but now we're kind of back up to this resistance level, and altcoins are likely to break out here in the next couple of days. And that would basically take us into this altcoin season box here, which I've drawn out. Goes into mid-October. A little bit of a spoiler for how long the altcoin season could last, but we'll come to that later in the video. So again, altcoin rally was in July. We got an August pullback that came a little bit earlier than expected, came in early August rather than mid-August. And then it looks like the altcoin season now is going to start literally in the next week or two, let's say. But this is just the second of three criteria. The third criteria, of course, guys, is Bitcoin dominance, which is in the process of falling. I think in Monday's video, I mentioned that we needed to see a clean break below 60%. Some people in the comments were saying well, it looks like it's closer to 58%. And in retrospect, I think that makes a little bit more sense, especially when we zoom out here. We're on the weekly on Bitcoin dominance. You can see that, yeah, somewhere around 58% really seems to be the real line in the sand. You can see it's a key zone of support and resistance, and going all the way back basically to 2019. So a clean break for Bitcoin dominance below 58%, I agree, that makes a little bit more sense. Once we get that clean break, again, that would be kind of the third signal confirming that we're entering an altcoin season. So again, Ethereum hitting an all-time high, which almost looks like it's probably going to happen in the next day or two. Others breaking out of this range here, I guess above this resistance around 310 billion. That also looks like it's going to happen in the next couple of days. And then Bitcoin dominance falling below 58%, which will probably also happen in the next couple of days. And if you're still unconvinced and thinking, no, I think this time is different and altcoins aren't going to rally or whatever, I have a very interesting chart to show you guys. So you might remember on Monday, I was talking about the DXY, the US dollar index, and how it historically correlates to altcoin season. Basically, first leg lower is a Bitcoin rally, second leg lower is an altcoin rally, and we're basically starting to see a second leg lower in the DXY. There's another really fascinating macro chart, I guess you could say, that you can watch to get a sense of when altcoins are going to rally and how long that rally is going to last and all that type of stuff. And that's the Russell 2000, aka the RUT. Without getting too much into detail, guys, the Russell 2000 is basically just the small cap index. So you can think of it as being the altcoins of stocks. So you have the S&P 500, you can see that's kind of the Bitcoin, and then the Russell 2000 would be the altcoins, right? So kind of Bitcoin versus others, something along those lines. And what's really interesting, guys, is of course the Russell 2000. It's also it's further down the risk curve. Similarly to altcoins, the Russell 2000 is traded primarily by retail, so it's also overlap of cohorts in terms of the people who are buying and selling altcoins in these small cap stocks. And so it should come as no surprise that historically speaking, when the Russell 2000 gets a breakout, this has corresponded to a massive altcoin season. You can see in 2020 here, it's really fascinating. The weekly pattern we're seeing now is literally identical to what we saw in late 2020, just before basically a 4 to 6 month melt up in the Russell 2000 and in altcoins. And it looks like the Russell 2000 is going to break out also this week or next week. So again, if you have any doubts, I hope that this kind of helps calm those doubts a little bit. Does that mean it's going to happen today or tomorrow? No, it'll probably take another week or two to play out, but it does look like altcoin season is basically imminent. And again, feel free to disagree in the comments. This is just my personal analysis. This is, my three criteria here, and then a little bit of a bonus looking at the Russell 2000 as an extra confirmation. Everything seems to line up perfectly in my view, and it looks like it's going to be a very exciting couple of months, which of course begs the question, how long is it going to last? And and how high could we see the crypto market cap go. Before we get into that, guys, I do need to tell you about the CoinBureau deals page. That's where you'll find our Bybit deal, which has up to $60,000 in rewards. If you can't use Bybit or already have an exchange account there, then do check out the other deals we have on offer in the CoinBureau deals page. We have Aaron's Better Trading course. We have other exchange deals. We have like crypto trading bots. We have hardware wallets. We have a whole bunch of stuff, and all these all these affiliate links and everything, guys. It doesn't cost you a thing. You get a discount or some bonus or some freebie, and we basically get a kickback, and our partners, of course, get a new user. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. Do check out these deals. I'm sure you'll find something in there that is suitable for you. Again, the link is down in the comments or in the description. Anyways, guys, to wrap things up, I think I'm probably just going to ramble on this total crypto market cap chart. Again, like nothing too crazy. I'm sure you guys have seen me share this chart before. For those of you who haven't, just to quickly recap, every single time we would see the total crypto market cap get above some key resistance level. And again, this is the total crypto market cap on the weekly. Whenever it would get above a key resistance level, it would basically see, roughly 6 to 8 weeks of like up-only price action. That's what we saw in early 2024. That's what we saw in late 2024. And that's what I foresee happening here. Of course, we had a little bit, you could say, like of a false start, like earlier this month, late last month. We saw a little bit of a rally, but then like a pretty nasty like a pullback, a little bit of chop, similar to what we saw in early 2024, like just before that rocket took off. We saw a similar thing here, basically over the last few weeks, a little bit of chop, and now it looks like like we're finally starting this kind of like 6 to 8 weeks like up only phase, right? And of course, when I say that, people say, well, like I heard that it's going to keep rallying into early next year and all this stuff. And in my honest opinion, guys, I think that this kind of perception that, it's going to be rallying into early next year, I think it has to do with the fact that everyone still has their head stuck in like this 2020, 2021 cycle where we did see kind of like a 4 to 6 month rally, right? But the thing is, guys, if we go all the way to 2017, you'll notice that back then as well, like it was only 2 to 3 months of rally. Like there wasn't really any, everyone's also waiting for this type of like rotation, that they want to see very clear signs of rotation. This is something I think that was very unique to 2021 because people were locked down at home, and it wasn't that they had more money, it's that they had more time to learn about all these different crypto projects, learn how to use all these different exchanges and products and everything, right? And that's what resulted, in my view, in terms of this very clear-cut rotation of like from NFTs to GameFi or whatever. Whereas in the 2017 cycle, I mean, I wasn't there, but from analyzing the charts, and I'm sure those of you who were there will confirm this, that there wasn't really like a rotation in the 2017 cycle. Everything just kind of rallied together. And I think we're going to get the exact same thing this time around. I really think that, again, everyone is stuck in this 2020, 2021 mindset, and they think that there's going to be this very long, drawn-out rally with 2 peaks, maybe a peak sometime in 2026 and like all this type of stuff. I think that's a mistake. I think people are really getting sucked in to this 2020, 2021 mindset, where, again, we don't have to go all the way back to 2017. We can literally look at early 2024, late 2024. Both of these rallies, again, they lasted for roughly 2 to 3 months. So I think that it's more than likely that this next rally here, that looks like it's starting in the next week or two, is also going to last only for another 2 to 3 months, which of course would take the cycle top, or let's say the altcoin rally, somewhere into either mid-October or potentially into mid-December. I personally think that Bitcoin, just as a fun fact or a side note, I think that Bitcoin is going to top in September, and I think altcoins will rally into like early or mid-October. That's my current forecast right now. Is it possible that Bitcoin tops in early October instead, and then altcoins rally into early November? That's certainly possible. It would be like a 2 or 3 week difference. I'm not going to cry about it. I don't think anyone should be crying about that. Some would argue that the more drawn out it is, the better, more room to run and all that type of stuff. But of course, that begs the question then is like, how high could we see the total crypto market cap go? And again, this is the total crypto market cap. It's not Bitcoin. It's not altcoins. This is all the cryptos combined. And it's actually pretty simple, guys. We can look at the previous 2 rallies we saw here, and we can do very basic technical analysis. We can look, okay, the starting point here, the difference between these 2 levels, we have 1.6 trillion up to 2.6 trillion. That's a difference of around 1 trillion, let's say. So lo and behold, in that second rally, when we got a breakout, we basically added 1 trillion to 2.6 trillion, and that took the total crypto market cap somewhere to around 3.6, 3.7 trillion. And we can do the same thing here. We can look at the difference between these 2 levels, and that difference is roughly, let's say, so from 2.3 trillion up to around 3.6 trillion. Of course, that's a difference of around 1.3 trillion. So that would give us a basically target of a total crypto market cap somewhere in the 5 trillion range. I'm sure that with leverage and a whole bunch of stuff, it'll be a little bit higher than that. But yeah, you would be looking at, again, like a pretty decent gain. And again, I guess the main thing to point out here is that this kind of next leg higher, what would make it quote unquote different from the early 2024 rally and from the late 2024 rally, of course, guys, would be Bitcoin dominance. Whereas in those previous rallies, Bitcoin dominance was rising. In this one, Bitcoin dominance is going to be falling. What does that mean? Is that, yeah, okay, maybe the total crypto market cap only goes up to 5 or 6 6 trillion, but most of that gain will be coming from altcoins and not from Bitcoin. So, like when I say, oh, it's only going to go to 5 trillion, I'm sure some people will say, oh, like, how's that enough for altcoins to rally? It's enough for altcoins to rally because most of that gain, in contrast to these prior pumps, most of this gain will be coming from altcoins, assuming Bitcoin dominance breaks down, which again, it looks like it's about to do, right? I guess the key takeaway being that this next rally here will be bigger and it'll have a bigger and broader altcoin rally as compared to early 2024 and late 2024. That's really the key takeaway here. We can debate about like what the composition is going to be. Is it going to be mostly Ethereum and like these large caps versus small caps? That's certainly up for debate. But again, just based on very simple technical analysis, looks like the total crypto market cap will peak somewhere around 5 trillion, maybe 5.5 trillion, something like that. Somewhere around mid-October, that's where the peak is going to be, most likely for altcoins, again, because they're going to be the primary drivers of this market cap gain. And we'll just have to wait and see after that. Could we see an extended cycle where we go into early 2026? Sure, but that's not my base case. And I think you should be very careful about the people who are making that declaration, let's say. Anyways, guys, if you did make it this far, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.